How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.
The title defence stays alive for Kolkata Knight Riders. They prevail over Delhi Capitals in a tense game in the capital. Delhi had their moments. They looked ahead in the chase. But KKR, on the back of Sunil Narine, who showed just why he is the player he has been for so long, turned the game on its head. KKR winning by 14 runs to get only their 4th win of the season and consign Delhi to their 3rd defeat in 4 outings at the Arun Jaitley Stadium. A massive game for both sides, implications on the points table. We dissect all of that on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. Welcome on the show, where we have Daren, Ganga, Ambati Rayudu, Wasim, Jaffer with us. Gentlemen, goes as you all predicted, with KKR winning. But at 13 overs, not a lot would have been fancying KKR's chances. So Daren, let's start right there. Sunil Narine's 14th over and how it's turned this contest on its head.
Very similar to the script that we have seen from KKR with their spinners with the ball. I expected that Narine, Chakravarti would be able to control the innings with the manner in which they bowl, their economy, and their ability to pick up wickets, and that is exactly what Sunil Narine did. Again, you felt that Delhi, they were on course, and that is the sort of value that Narine brings. The mystery of his bowling, the fact that he understands the conditions, he can pull his length back. You don't often get Sunil Narine over-pitching the ball. He knows as a bowler, having played with him for so long, how he can go on the defensive and close his over out, bowl a ball back off a length outside our stump and prevent a boundary scoring opportunity. So that sort of guile and that sort of database of experience came to the fore. Not only was he very good with the ball, but he contributed, with taking that catch to behind point and then the run out of KL Rahul. Those were significant and critical moments in the game that swung things in favour of KKR.
Yeah, add to that the start of the day, 27 of 16. Add to that the end, the second half of the innings where he was also leading KKR with Ajinkya Rahane off the field. God, that is an all-round day for the ages for Sunil Narine. The impact of just that 14th over. Delhi at 130 for 3 after 13 overs were being given a 55% chance as per ESPN Cricket for forecaster. Just that one over where he got Aksar and Stubbs, swung it 72% in KKR's favour, and then he comes on in his next and gets Faf to Plessy and pretty much game over there, Rayudu.
I think it's been incredible. He has been doing that for a long time in the IPL. It is not the first time that we have seen him do things like that in the middle overs. He completely dismantles the opposition's batting, and very few bowlers have had that power over any batting lineup in the middle overs, and he is someone who has been retained by KKR exactly to do this. So it's unbelievable. I mean, he knows exactly what to bowl, when to bowl, and how to really keep himself calm under pressure.
Those 7 balls, the turning point of this game.
I mean, 100%. It changed the game completely. But I think the nail on the head was when Ashutosh Sharma also got out. He was somebody who could have, DC would have been looking at him to finish the game off. Especially the way Harshit Rana bowled, he wasn't at his best. If Ashutosh was there till the last over, you never know. Vipraj played brilliantly. But definitely those 3 wickets, put DC to rest.
Rayudu's point takes me to the start of this evening where we were discussing the roles for Narine and Russell in this KKR setup. And, you do get the feeling, had it not been for 2024 and the kind of campaigns they had, KKR would have been wondering if they are short retentions. But then every now and then, Sunil Narine does these things.
Yeah, and it just goes to show that we've been focusing a lot on what they have not done with the bat. But the value of these 2 guys is beyond just contributing with the bat and runs. Russell, I think, had bowled sparingly until about the halfway stage and he started bowling. Not quite sure if that was for some challenge that he had with his fitness, but he is a very effective last 5 over specialist. He's a wicket taker. He has that knack for picking up wickets as soon as he's introduced with the ball. So he can allow you as a captain to control the game. And then Sunil Narine, I mean, we started playing with him knowing that once he's on the side, the opposition is getting to bat 16 or 17 overs, right? And that's strictly on economy. Then his penetration, I think in previous years, wasn't as high as it used to be. But I think what he brings also, if he's not getting wickets, is that pressure from one end that allows his partner on the other end to benefit. So Narine to me is, is money, real money in T20 cricket.
I think we have had team meetings on how to tackle Narayan when I was with MI for quite a few years, leading up to a team meeting where we have decided no, let's put the shutter down, just see him out. There is no way we are getting to him because he's been a thorn in MI's middle order batting lineup for a long time. And we have faced his wrath, and this is exactly what happens when he's at his best.
Yeah, this is the best, isn't it? When it's the frugality and also striking with those wickets which turn the game on its head.
I mean, and also don't forget the run out of KL Rahul. That was quite unlike Narayan because if you see Narayan at short fielding, you would go for that run. Maybe KL could have dived. Maybe he didn't expect Narayan to really have a good pickup and throw. But yeah, he's a thorough match winner. I mean, what else can you say about
Can batters at times run on the reputation of the person throwing the ball?
I think so. I think that's probably the only reason KL would have ran that run, knowing that it's Sunil Narine will probably take it easy and won't shy at the stump, but it did, and absolutely bullseye.
And Narine is of course part of KKR's spin trio, and it was a trio on the night. It was Anukul Roy who opened the bowling, and you look at the three of them together, Varun Chakravarti of course being the third, 6 for 95 in 12 overs between them. And KKR came with a clear tactic, which was quite the opposite of what we saw in the first half of the evening. They went to spin straight away, and each spinner had a role to play.
Yeah, and 3 spin overs in that power play phase. And when I was looking at this second half of the game, I was just wondering, did the pitch change at all that allowed spin to be a little more potent? And the second thing I was thinking, did the KKR spinners do something that was different to what we saw from Delhi Capitals? I think when you look at what they did, generally speaking, they bowled into the pitch. There was a little more bounce, I feel, from Narine in the way he was bowling the ball into the pitch. The ball maybe was just holding a bit. We spoke about maybe a dew factor, but I didn't really see a dew factor there. So I just feel the conditions also assisted, or whether it's the other way around, based on the conditions, these guys adjusted very well and created a little more of a challenge for the batters. Not many deliveries were pitched up on full deliveries that allow batters to hit them down the ground.
And seeing a left-handed opener not stopping your slow left armour and getting a wicket.
Absolutely. And if you see the power play scores, I think that's almost very close to the winning margin. They were 61 for Delhi was 60 odd runs and they were 79.
58 for 2, 79 for 1. 21 runs right
21
there.
runs. I think that was the difference in the game if you look at it.
The decision to use Anukul Roy perhaps also influenced by Faf du Plessis' track record. Narine and Varun have both kept him on a leash in the past. That away-going spinner just to keep Faf in check, and Anukul Roy has actually kept Faf to 6 of 11 balls.
I think so. I think reputation also plays such an important, thing in you deciding to bowl against left-hander. We talked about Puran and Sunil Narine. People are a little bit scared to use spin, but Abhishek Porwal, somebody who's new, hasn't got the same reputation. But I think that was a very smart move. They've got the wicket in the first over, and then from there on you could bowl the left-arm spinner because there's a right-hander, and obviously they got into the game. DC will rule that had one of their batters would have clicked, whether it was KL, whether Tristan Stubbs, they were just two hits away from the win.
Allows us to look back at what Delhi did with the ball and how differently they could have used their spinners and whether the game would have looked different if they went to their spinners in the first 6.
Yeah, I was having the offset conversation about teams and their reluctance to use conventional wrist spinners in the power play phase. I think, to me, if you're trying to control a phase by taking wickets, that's an option for you. Take away the runs that you might be able to concede. And then if you know that you have an issue with your bowlers not penetrating opposition batters, then I think it's worth the gamble for you to use at least one over of wrist spin in that phase. So Kuldeep not finishing, to me, was a bit of a missed opportunity. When you have a bowler like Kuldeep, regardless of the day he's having, I'd like to still see him exhaust his full complement of 4 overs. So whether that is something that he could have looked at, bowling Kuldeep 1 earlier on and then bowling 3 in the middle, that could have changed proceedings and probably informed the way the other spinners go on that type of surface.
Yeah, because we talk up matchups in Aksar choosing not to bowl to a Narine, and he may be on solid ground with that. But there is the other side of it where Kuldeep Yadav had bowled 3 balls to Sunil Narine before this and got him out twice. You never see him bowl in the power play, but there can be certain times where you change the norm.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, especially today when they were going great guns, the KKR batsmen. I felt they should have brought on a spinner for sure. And Kuldeep definitely is a wicket taker, and he's been bowling brilliantly to left-handers of late. He's getting the dip now, which was not there in his bowling early on. And also, he's not afraid to bowl googlies to left-handers these days. Yeah. And he's been getting a lot of wickets of googlies. So, I felt tactically, KKR, even though they're still not at their best, were much better tonight.
And even if, let's say for a second that you've decided that Kuldeep does not bowl in the power play at all, be it the team's call, be it the bowler also preferring not to, Vipraj Nigam at the start of this season was consistently bowling a 5th or a 6th over in the power play and doing well. There is, I think in the game against RCB, he got Virat Kohli out in the 5th over. You're not going to him either, even if Aksar doesn't want to bowl himself.
Yeah, I mean, strange tactics. We've talked about it in the last game also. He was underused. He only bowled 1 over. Could have been a different story altogether. When you lose those kind of games, you think on hindsight that had he, done these things, the result would have been definitely different. Today was another day where, he would have thought, had he used spin in the power play, could have been different story, because obviously that's the margin of difference, in that loss.
Can be a challenge at times for captains and especially newer captains. When you have more than just the 5 bowlers, when you have 6 bowlers, at times a 7th option as well, just managing them.
Indeed. I mean, and then it's very easy for us to talk in hindsight, when we've seen the game unfold and we've seen what bowlers on either side have done. I still feel that there is a instinctiveness and that gut instinct that has to take over at times for you as a captain. Yes, you can have all the data to guide you in the matchups and, where bowlers are best suited. But at the end of the day, that has to also be aligned with the conditions, the form of what the opposition players are showing. So it takes a series of factors to come to that point of you making an informed decision. The other thing, too, that I feel is something that I've not seen a lot of is like captains consulting with senior players on the field of play. That is essential. Your wicketkeeper, your senior batter, your senior bowler. Those are the guys that have to sort of make that, I would say, determining factor on decisions that you feel are 50-50.
You have the likes of Faf du Plessis and KL Rahul in that side.
Yeah, and also you can say the auction has filtered out quite a few. They've gone to a lot more youngsters. Yeah. And also most of these guys are great fielders. So they're mostly on the boundaries. It's very hard. That's why you need your keeper to be slightly more experienced than maybe, I'm not saying Purel doesn't give good suggestions, but the keeper is experienced, he can give you those inputs.
Which in itself is an interesting minor plot in this game. We don't know for sure why KL Rahul did not have the keeping gloves in this game. It was only the 3rd time. Purel obviously kept in the one game that KL didn't play, the opening game of the season. He kept for 3 overs in the game in Chennai when KL was off the field, and then he kept today. And what Rayudu mentions about the insight and experience keeper brings, and also without meaning to target Purel, both times he stood in as keeper, there's been a review that's gone a-begging while he's been behind the stumps.
When keeper plays a very important role because he sees things, up close. He sees the angle really well. He sees the fielders from different, area. And KL, obviously, being a senior guy, very easy, accessible to Aksar. But I feel probably, Purel dropped a catch in the outfield. Could have been that. They would feel that, KL is probably a better fielder in the outfield. Could have been that, making Purel keep the wickets.
Pros and cons? KL's experience behind the stumps, the leadership value that he brings, or the fielder?
Well, we don't have all the information before us, right? Yes. But I'd like to, if I'm a captain on a team, I'd like to have KL Rahul behind the stumps. Straight away, he's helping me in making sure the fielders are in right positions. Straight away from eye contact, I can go to him and ask him what's happening with this bowler, what is the ball doing, what do you reckon? So I have a sounding board straight away from a guy who has a great deal of experience and who had the chance of batting in that surface before. So to me, that's a better sounding board.
Right. We are inviting your questions as well. Be sure to join the conversation. I can see a lot of them have already come in. We will be coming to them very soon. But one of the points that, and I guess now the conversation around Delhi and where their season, which is slowly starting to slip away from them, aside that won the first 4, have now lost, 4 of the last 6, could soon be out of the top 4 for the first time this season. If you consider their wins, do we see a pattern of them having been taken over the line by individual brilliance? Are they yet to have a collective outing so far?
Yeah, I think so. I think, KL got them over the line few times. Tristan Stubbs has done well. Karun has played 1 inning, but there is, that collective effort which we talk about hasn't happened. And in the last 4 or 5 games, they've struggled as a team, which can put doubts in your mind as a team unit. And especially at the business end, when you have, performances like this, sometimes you question yourself, and that could be the cause of concern.
Yeah, I think so. And also because you are a team which bats on your bowling. And if it does not come off, I don't think Delhi has the batting prowess to really, challenge teams.
I am really sorry for coming in, Rayudu. We will need a quick impact sub in and out. There is some issue with the mic. I will request you to just get that fixed as Daren takes over. And we will have you back in a minute. But Daren,
just to build on that point that Rayudu is making, I also feel that when you get to the point of playing 10 matches, 11 matches in a Tata IPL season, you're known by opposition teams. Whatever you've been trying to sort of make unpredictable, it's out in the open. So teams plan better for you, and your sort of cutting edge instinct and character that you had at the start of the season has become and will become a little more blunt, I would say. So the challenge now is on the think tank, the captain, to come up with creative ways of using players, as I mentioned before. If players can play different roles, just switching things up a little bit, not to the expense of your potency of your team. And again, if you are to pinpoint the strongest suit in this Delhi Capitals team, it will be their bowling. So there is a lot of room for improvement, batting-wise and batting as a collective, in my estimation.
So then what are the changes, if at all, that they need to do with the bat? Because if you think of the batting contributions, Ashutosh with a blinder against Lucknow, KL Rahul winning them 2 games in Chennai and Bangalore. What next?
I just think the batters need to come to the party. I don't think, they don't need to change the personnel, at this point of time. I just feel the team they are playing, they're good enough. I just think they need to come to the party. Faf has played a good innings. Abhishek Porel need to be a little bit more consistent. Karun Nair has 1 inning, like I said. He has few failures after that. KL, obviously you expect him to, win you games, especially in this business end. Tristan Stubbs also is due for runs. So, form is an issue. I don't think, changing teams or bringing anyone at this point of time is the solution. It's just having a collective effort as a batting unit which will sort the issue.
Yeah, but now with where they are, with 12 points after 10 games done, 4 games, a lot of which are tricky games against fellow top 4 contenders, they might need some magic. And magic is what indeed happened. Ambati Rayudu has found his way back onto the couch. Your thoughts, Rayudu, on Delhi's issues and whether they're not firing as a collective unit still?
No, I think, like I was saying before I went off, I think it's their bowling that is their strength. But in terms of their batting, because they can be 10 runs below par, because you have the strength in bowling, I think one of their batsmen needs to bat really long. And that's the approach that maybe they should take, and KL has to bat at number 3 if that has to happen. So I think KL has to take the onus on him or Faf to bat those 15 or 16 overs, and then everybody else can play around them, because they don't have the firepower to go, say, both batters at once. It is very, very tough for them to do that with this batting lineup.
Yeah, one thing you don't want as a DC, batting unit or team management is to go defensive from here. They need to play that positive brand of cricket. That's how they've come in the top half of the table in the early stages. What teams can do is go defensive and play safe cricket, and that's exactly what you don't want to do.
Yeah, and if I go through the themes that are emerging from all the questions and comments pouring in, there's a lot on DC's bowling, and there's a lot batting focus on Vipraj Nigam, who's played another handy cameo there. 38 of 19, you'd think if he had some support, maybe something special could have happened. And there are questions. I saw one from Ujjwal. Do Delhi need to utilize Vipraj better with the bat? Is there a case for that?
I think he's walked in before Ashutosh tonight. So I feel that's where he needs to bat. I don't think he can bat any higher. They have enough batsmen batting higher than him who are way better than him at this moment at least. So I don't think that needs to happen, but definitely before Ashutosh.
On the bowling front, I saw a lot of questions. Ujjwal again, going back to the bowling, Mukesh isn't giving much to the team. There's another one, quite a few asking on T. Natarajan if he's in the squad, and Kevin Peterson has confirmed after the last game that he is fit. Should Natarajan be featuring in this side?
Well, if you go in on the argument that he is a retained player and somebody who is considered high value before the start of the season, if there is an opportunity, he should be given a chance. Not quite sure if he's still nursing an injury or if he's available, but I feel he's shown that he has the capability of playing a leading role with the ball in T20 cricket and in the IPL. So that's maybe a sort of freshness that they need to this bowling lineup, and maybe giving a few players a little bit of a rest to come back stronger in later matches.
Good one on the batting from Sai Kohli. Are Delhi missing on a power hitter who can take the game away from the opposition? They missed on Brevis. Could they not look to replace Brook with someone? They still haven't replaced Harry Brook.
I mean,
either of you.
They can look at that, but they have Megak, Jake Fraser Megak.
Yep.
He struggled a little bit, but you can look at him again and get an Indian fast bowler, which has worked for them at the start of the season. You can get him with Faf du Plessis opening the innings, because Faf can actually guide him into a very good power play partnership. So I feel they can go that route as well, but definitely they need power in their batting lineup.
So Shobit echoes your sentiment with a different lens. Was McGurk DC's lucky charm when he was playing? DC didn't lose much.
You would want to consider that he himself. When you're not scoring runs, and you still consider a lucky charm. So Jake Fraser McGurk will think like that, but I don't know. I mean, it's a tricky one because Abhishek Porel has got runs. Karun has shown promise, but like I said, he's failed in last three innings. But it's a tricky one. You want to change the team at this point of time, or you stick with the same 11. That's a tricky one for the management.
Because I feel more than their batting, Wasim bhai, I feel their bowling in terms of Mohit Sharma or Natarajan, because they're so experienced, they've done well in the IPL.
Yeah.
You would want them at this point in time, because they can pull you out of tough situations, and also they can win you games.
Yep. Cristiano Ronaldo, who quite often features in this segment, does say this looked like a pitch tailor-made for Mohit Sharma when they're playing Natarajan. I hope those questions are answered. He is one of many who also points out about Aksar's injury, which was also a moment from this game. We don't know how bad it is, whether he'll be fit for the next one, but many comments, including one from Ram Krishna, no backup for Aksar is going to hurt them if he doesn't play the next game.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, he has been exceptional, not only as a captain, with the ball, with the bat. Every time he's come in, he's contributed significantly. He scored at a rapid rate to suit the situation that they're in. I look at that team and I don't feel there's somebody that can substitute somebody with multiple roles like what he's carrying. So that is a little bit of a void there.
So it's a lot of dimensions to cover.
Yeah, four dimensions. So I think he's been exceptional, not only for Delhi but also for the Indian team. We have seen that in the past. So he is someone who has established himself as a complete all-round cricketer, and that's a dream for any team to have. And he'll be totally missed if he does not feature in the next game, and that'll be a big blow for Delhi.
Right. Let me also take some questions from the KKR perspective now before I'm accused of any Delhi biases here. And this is for you, Daren. What makes Sunil Narine smile? Even the direct hit didn't.
Well, to be honest, Sunil Narine is a totally different character off the field. All right? Behind closed doors, he's a fun guy. He's very, very, if I'll go far and say, very childish in the way he operates. But on the field of play, he's very poker face, very serious about his cricket. He's somebody that has grown up playing the game organically, playing a lot of softball cricket. Around his parents, he lost his dad, which was a tough time for him. And still now, he still prides himself on the excellent standard that he set for himself with ball and bat. Again, the other thing that I feel we have to give Sunil Narine credit for is the way he has reinvented himself. At one point in time, his bowling was becoming a little bit, I would say, less penetrative. He went and worked more on his economy. He also worked on his batting, brought a new dimension to any T20 team that he was playing in, gave an option for him to be a pinch hitter, for him to open the batting. So all credit to him in the manner in which he's transformed himself, and he's like the Energizer Bunny. He keeps coming back again and again and again.
Poker face,
Yeah, no, that's what.
childlike off the field, reinventing himself. Reminds you of a former teammate, Rayudu? Heard these definitions of one of your captains.
One of no, he at least has some emotion. But with Narine, what hurts you the most is even after you get out, he doesn't have any feeling. It makes you feel like, am I even worth playing this game? There's a lot of batsmen. He doesn't celebrate it. Yes. He doesn't even smile. So that's quite hurtful.
Can only imagine. Sunil Narine, quite obviously, for all that he's done today, is the player of the match. And we had Andre Russell on the broadcast talking about Narine. He said Narine bringing himself back in the 14th over was crucial. That over, he got the 2 wickets, and they were big wickets. That's where all of us started to believe in winning the game. Russell was also asked on Narayan's personality. He's very active when on the field. A lot of guys misjudge him. He's a quiet individual, but on the park, he's a leader. He's been more talkative in the last 5 years. Is that true?
Well, yeah, to the standard that he originally held, yes, a little more talkative, a little more expressive. He's also had the experience of captaining Knight Riders franchises in other leagues. Yeah. So he's grown in stature. I don't think he's had the chance of leading a team back in Trinidad, where he's originally from. But with the wealth of experience that he has, the dressing rooms that he's been in, the way he's played under the different captains across, franchise cricket at the international level, by association alone, he will have that database of knowledge to lead a side. And I feel he's at the peak of his career, maybe on the other side of that mountain that we call a career. But he continues to produce the goods for his team, and he still plays with that passion and pride that you'd expect from a top-class player.
Frankie de Jong, again, not sure if it's the actual one, is asking, tell me, sir, Narine was a better captain than Rahane. His changes were spot on, 5 wickets in no time. It's a bit harsh.
It's a bit harsh, but Rahane is a fantastic captain. Anybody who has played under Rahane will acknowledge the fact that he's a very, very cool and a calm guy under pressure. And it's a good reason why KKR are still in the race, because Rahane has kept the atmosphere and the dugout quite positive, even though they were having a few really bad games. So I think don't undermine Rahane.
Everything is outcome based.
You have said that line a few times, and it remains truer every time you say it. I'm going to take one final one on who was KKR's top scorer on the night. Ankrish Raghuvanshi, 44 of 32, continuing a run of consistent performances this season. And that has Sean K asking, Raghuvanshi quietly having a decent season. Should the BCCI invest in him and get him into the A setup as soon as possible? Do you think he's ready?
I'll probably, play him 1 or 2 more seasons in first class cricket. I think he's done well in IPL in patches, but I think he's still got a little bit long way to go.
Rayudu?
No, I second that. I mean, obviously, when you see a talent like that, you get emotional enough to put them in sides, but also they have to get the mental strength of playing proper domestic cricket, playing out a season, doing well for your state side. So I think the process has to be followed.
All right, that shall do the most of the dissection of this contest, but we are not going anywhere before a quick fire review of this game. KKR with a 14-run win over Delhi Capitals. Gentlemen, you know the drill. Daren, I'll start with you. Narayan's batting, bowling, fielding or captaincy, which one impressed you the most today?
Bowling. And because of how critical his introduction was, at that stage of the game, DC was on top of the required rate. They had wickets in hand. They had a good partnership going. And for him to come on and get those 2 wickets in quick time, just taking away the informed batters and the guys who were set, to me, changed the nature and the outlook of that DC run chase. And he did it with that sort of calm, carrying the responsibility as captain and knowing that they were under pressure. To me, I feel that aspect of Narayan's performance tonight was the most significant.
Rayudu, Kolkata opting to go heavy on spin. Did they read the conditions better than Delhi?
Yeah, I think tactically, definitely Kolkata were much better tonight, and playing Ankul Roy was a great move given the context of the game.
To you, Wasim, Aksar not bowling in the power play, Kuldeep not completing his quota. Did Delhi get their tactics wrong tonight?
I think so. I think Aksar should have bowled at least 1 over to see, how it goes. And I think the way Rinku took on Kuldeep probably prompted them to, not finish his 4 overs.
Back to you, Rayudu. In Gurbaz and Narine, we're at 48 in 3 overs today. Have KKR found the opening combination they need to stick with for the rest of the season?
That's a tough one because we've been talking in the previous show about Raghuvanshi opening.
6 different openers.
Yeah, 6 different openers and also Russell being there. So I feel, for the moment, yes, but definitely they have to think about Raghuvanshi opening.
All right. Daren, they've won this clash, but do KKR need to rethink how they use Russell and Rovman Powell with the bat?
Most definitely. I think you don't want to play both these guys and not use their capacity with the bat. Russell definitely to be used according to the situation of the game. Like I mentioned before, in an ideal sense, I'd like to see Russell enter around the 12th, 13th over. And more so if Powell is playing, you have that buffer of him finishing the innings off. So yeah, I'd like them to utilize Andre Russell and allow him to bat more deliveries. I think on average he's batting, 10 balls per inning so far in the IPL?
I think it's 55 balls right now all season.
Right, so that to me is too low for a guy of that caliber.
Finally, Wasim, in a losing cause, but how good was Aksar's knock despite carrying an injury?
It was very nice, for him to be, that injured and we could see the pain on his face, but to still play such a significant inning, very brave of him. And I hope, he goes on and plays for DC, because if he misses out, the chances of DC qualifying becomes very slim.
That is it. Thank you, gentlemen, for that rapid-fire review. It is time. Now, let's take a look at the points table and implications of this result. No one moves for the time being. The Delhi Capitals, who've been in the top 4 all through, top 2 for most of the season, will stay on 12 points and could soon see themselves drop out of the top 4 for the first time. They've now lost 4 of their last 6 games, including 3 out of 4 at the Arun Jaitley Stadium. KKR, with this win, stay in contention. 4 more wins and they will be on 17 points. 3 wins take them to 15, both of which can keep them interested. It's tough. They have a tough road ahead. The run-in for KKR involves, they're playing Rajasthan Royals and Chennai Super Kings next. 2 teams who are hurting, 2 teams who are looking to spoil people's parties. And then there's also Sunrisers Hyderabad. So, okay, there are 3, the bottom 3, and then RCB. Can KKR pull this off?
Yeah, I think, if KKR played to their potential, I don't think anybody in those 10 teams can actually come close to beating them, because that's the kind of firepower they have.
And one look at Delhi's fixtures will tell you just how tough the road ahead is for the Capitals, who are on 12 points after 10 games, and the last 4. Sunrisers next. After that, Punjab away in Dharamshala, Gujarat Titans, and Mumbai Indians. That last one will be at Wankhede. And that is as tough as it gets. All 3 of those last 3 games are against teams who will be vying for the top 4, if not the top 2, Daren.
Yeah, and again, you're hoping that players stay fit. It's been a long season. You expect guys like Mitchell Stark, players who lead the different departments to continue to still have that extra sting and pep in their step. You're hoping that Aksa Patel will, of course, be fit to play the remaining matches. So there are so many permutations there that it's very difficult for you to say with conviction where they're going to end up. But that is why we love the intrigue of the IPL.
Tell you what, Wasim, I think you know where I'm going with this one. You play Oracle like no one else does. So why don't you forecast where DC and KKR will finish?
Well, I said that before. I said, Mumbai, Gujarat and RCB are definitely qualifying. And I gave Punjab the 4th position. But seeing the 4 teams that KKR is going to play, KKR have got a strong chances of qualifying as well, unless they mess up even one of the games. I think DC will find it hard from the teams that they are going to play.
All right, we will leave it there. Gentlemen, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure having your company through this evening. Daren, Ganga, Ambati Rayudu, Wasim, Jaffer, all 3 of you are back reunited. You will continue to be on the couch tomorrow. So we look forward to your company. Thank you so much for your time and your thoughts. They will be back. We will be back. It will be Punjab Kings who go to Chepauk to take on the Chennai Super Kings, who've lost 4 out of 5 at home. Can they arrest that slide? A win for Punjab will see them climb into the top 4. So it's a big one. All the games that are coming up are big ones. So be sure to join us just before toss time on Maruti Suzuki Arena. Presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. Good night.
How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.